Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome back to another beta recap. Yet again, we have quite a short one, but still a few interesting things to talk about. We have some changes or updates for the summer event, which just ended on beta. Unit stacking is finally released on live, so I'll talk a little bit about that. We have some updates for Guild Battlegrounds here on beta, and we have a first look at the Fellowship event buildings, which should be coming out in perhaps a week or two on beta. So, before I go into all of that, I do quickly want to mention that tomorrow, or Monday the 22nd, depending on when you're watching this video, I will be live streaming the wildlife event. I will be playing between 5 and 10 games across each of my 3 worlds that I'm playing on. So yeah, I think that'll be quite fun. You can see how I play the minigame and how I finish out the event. So if you're interested, you will find that linked in the description. You can see the local time when you open the link in your YouTube. So yeah, without further ado, let's get going. Let's start with the changelog. So nothing player related on Monday or Tuesday. On Wednesday here, quite a big one actually. They added a new tab in the inventory, the Fragments tab. All your fragments will be displayed there and no longer in consumables tab. So actually, I really should have gotten the page up, but we can change that real quick. So here we go. So if I go into my inventory here, so the first tab here, all rewards, the fragments are still available. But you also have a separate tag or separate tab here with all of the fragments separated out. And in the consumables here, they are no longer visible. Now, I think this is it's definitely a nice change. But I do think people really wanted to have the all tab here without the fragments. So I think what I would also like to see in addition to this is a combination of the buildings and consumables, because when I'm looking for all of my upgrades and so on, all the buildings I can place, I quite like seeing both the level 1 buildings and the upgrades or selection kits at the same time, but I suppose you could do that here. So I don't know, I've seen a bit of a backlash really that the people didn't like that they weren't removed from this all rewards tab, but I don't think they should be, because it is literally all rewards. So I'm fine with this. I think it's a decent change. I would like to see some more changes though to the inventory. I think filters and all of that would be even better, but it's a nice change. So there's that. Then in the summer event, it had 33 daily quests on beta, but only supposed to be 32. So they removed the last quest and adjusted the milestone rewards for that. And you might remember a couple of weeks ago, I think actually, they changed it so that you only get between 1 and 2 progress per tile you unlock. That was because you got a lot more, you could open a lot more tiles, you had a lot more currency, so they decreased that. But they hadn't adjusted the visuals, so they now have, so that will look better on live. Now they also have another change for the summer event. The treasure maps have been improved, so the rewards in the pool have been improved. There are also some new ones. We don't know the details, but I suppose that is nice enough. In case you don't know, the treasure maps is the piggy bank feature where you get reward, or you don't get, you have to pay diamonds for rewards that you get from picking up certain rewards or certain rewards on the tiles on the board. So you still have to pay diamonds, but the rewards have been improved, so might perhaps be more worth it. That'll of course depend on what you get. The cartographer's house, for example, is already was and still is a part of this. So if you get that, then perhaps it is worth it to spend 3,000 diamonds for well, up to a couple of cartographer's houses if you are lucky. So that's the updates for right now for the summer event. As I mentioned, you probably have already noticed, but on live we have unit stacking, and unfortunately they haven't made any changes based on the feedback that you got in beta. It's still the same feature that was released on beta almost a month ago, or over a month ago now actually. Which is quite sad to see. I was hoping that they would well, that it would change it based on the feedback. It was quite clear that people wanted to have some way to hide damaged units. That has not been listened to, and we can see already that on, at least on the international server, there were page after page of feedback that the damaged units, there should be a way to disable them or not see them, because that kind of ruins the whole point of the unit stacking. And also another thing that I didn't really think too much about, but one of the benefits of unit stacking is that this unit is in the same place every time. But when you start getting damaged units, all of a sudden they shift all over the place, and it's no longer obvious where the unit is, which increases the time it takes to actually refill. So I don't know. I hope that they do listen to the feedback now on the live servers, that this feature should be updated. It's quite half-baked as it is right now. It really has potential to be a great update, but yeah, sadly it's not quite there yet. I have also heard reports about it being quite laggy once you start getting a lot of units. I haven't tested that myself, but if that's something that you experience, please let me know in the comments. I would quite like to hear. And if that is something you experienced, you should also leave feedback on that on the feedback threads, and probably also bug reports. So yeah, that's that for unit stacking. Hope to see some changes there in the future. Another big change, this one for beta specific, for the new Battleground season starting this Thursday, we will revert the balancing of the siege camps and watchtowers to its previous state, which is currently active on live servers. So if you don't know, for a long time now, for almost a year now, on beta, the max attrition reduction is 66%, and it was something that I tested. They ended up not really releasing it to live, but on beta they kept it, and it's been active all the time until now. But now finally it is being removed, and they're exploring bigger changes to guild battlegrounds. Reverting to the previous balancing will help us lay the groundwork for the upcoming update and gather viable data to make it happen. With these changes, we would like to address guild battlegrounds as a whole and not just the balancing side of the feature. And also, of course, important note, the development schedule is subject to change, so it's possible that planned updates will be rescheduled and or revised. Stay tuned for news. And we have already kind of seen it. We have some updates here, or some spoilers here for the upcoming guild battlegrounds, but we haven't seen anything new since, well, a month ago. So who knows when this might come out, but yeah, it's probably I would imagine at least a couple of months away before we see some actual changes. But it does seem like they're planning a bigger rework of the feature instead of just rebalancing it, which I would welcome. It's probably no surprise that I don't really like guild battlegrounds too much. I think it's quite repetitive and boring. So I hope to see it spiced up a little bit. I'm not sure if they'll be able to succeed, but I'm at least interested to see what they have planned, whenever that might be. But there's no sign that this will be anytime close, so in time. So who knows? I will definitely cover it when the time comes. All right, let's finish off with some spoilers. So we have a little bit more on the Fellowship event. We finally have the new buildings. So the main building here, I don't actually have the size. It looks like perhaps 4x4 or 5x5. But yeah, this is a new building. It has 10 levels. Here it is at level 9. And then, of course, sadly, we have a golden upgrade for level 10. And I think it looks quite nice. It does look quite similar to the Heroes Tavern, which, surprise, surprise, also gets a golden upgrade, which I also think looks quite nice. It'll be interesting to see how good it is, but it is probably going to be Event Pass exclusive, which is quite sad. We also have some secondary buildings, 3 of them. So we have these buildings, which are probably 2x3 and 2x2, if we were to guess. And this 1x1, which is probably the same as the golden panda statue from the wildlife event, where you get 1 fragment every day for 150 days. for the golden upgrade kit. And exactly where that'll land, I don't know. But one thing that I didn't really think about initially, but if we have this level 1x1 building here to give fragments, the main building will probably not give fragments like it does in the St. Patrick's Day event, which might mean that you are forced to play a playstyle where you play a lot of towns instead of playing few towns and getting all the upgrades from after town chests. Because if you don't know, the mechanics of this event will be the same as the St. Patrick's Day event. And in the St. Patrick's Day event, as you might know, there were a lot of viable strategies. You could play anything from 3 towns to 20 towns, and yeah, all of that would give you the main building fully leveled, and then you could get fragments from the main building. But if we now have this building that gives us fragments for the golden upgrade, you might be forced to do a lot of towns. Now, exactly how many, I don't know. I don't think they would do anything crazy like requiring you to play like 19 towns. Oh, actually, who am I kidding? They might do that. I don't know. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they make it so that you get this quite early on, so you still have quite a few options in playstyle, and you're not forced to do a bunch of towns in order to get or complete enough tasks to get it. But of course, that's something we will have to see when the event finally comes out. The summer event just ended, so my bet would be in 2 or so weeks on beta. So probably not the upcoming week, but the week after that, midweek that week perhaps, or early the week after that. So I'm definitely interested to see. I'm also really interested to see how the balancing is. If balancing is the same, or if they have different tasks, different requirements and so on, different numbers. On one hand, if they do have the exact same balancing, same tasks, and all of that, I could just reuse all my St. Patrick's Day stuff guides, and it will be very easy for me. But it would definitely be a lot more fun if the balancing is different, and we do have to rethink, calculate, make up new strategies, and so on. And also, speaking of strategies, I know that Beelzebub is working on some cool stuff for the FoE helper, so not going to say more on that. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, I'm looking forward to the event, but I'm sure a lot of you aren't. It's probably no surprise that I really like this event mechanic, but I do also think that they have gone a little bit overboard with the complex events recently. With St. Patrick's, then Anniversary, then Wildlife. We do have a nice break with summer event, but then it's on again with the St. Patrick's Day event 2.0 with the Fellowship event there. So, anyways, I think that's all I want to talk about. I'm interested to see more. Looking forward to it, but I'm a little bit worried about this. So, before I end this video, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Lorden, Kim Kelly, Rolf the 8th, Dan Sumrad, Chatty, Hekate, Dark Matter, Mylia, Sierra K, Merrick B, Hugo Count von Count, Twitter Genwes, Susan Weiss, Rocco, Spike from No Remorse, Merthen Emrys, Flavius the Avenger, Ashborn, Arkler, Nova, Juber, Ninja Alin, Whiskey Meister, Henrik Kleber, Mattia, Adarel, Mike, Obsessed, Atomic, Ruth, Karen, Flavius Belisarius, Dennis, Stampe, and Podger. Thanks a lot for your support, thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future.